everybody. Welcome to the last demo day of 2025 for KP Ready Co. We have a jam-packed day of different technology platforms across the building lifecycle. And so we've got 6 presenters today. We'll do about 10 minutes each. And then any questions you have on each of the different platforms that's being presented today, feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A section. And we'll go ahead and get those answered after each presenter is ready or is finished with their product. We just had our successful Vibathon and AEC Summit this week in Phoenix, Arizona. It was great to see everybody out there, and the engagement was incredible. We will be announcing some things on our Q1 event for 2026 on January 13th. That will be in San Francisco, California. So keep an eye out for announcements on that, as well as our other quarterly events that will be coming up for the 2026 year. So to get things kicked off, we're going to start with Mike Powers in BuildVision, and he's going to show you their procurement platform that they have. So Mike, if you want to go ahead and take the screen, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, David, for having us. I am Mike Powers, the co-founder of BuildVision. We're building a procurement network to help contractors source, procure, and finance strategic pieces of equipment through the network of suppliers and OEMs in the market. Our initial focus is a lot around strategic equipment. So that means mechanical, electrical gear. Think of things that are long lead time, high cost, high engineered systems. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So the basic functionality of the application is an RFQ tool. So what you're seeing here is the buyer side of the app. I have a list of projects here. As part of the demo, I'm just going to go ahead and create a project. Let's do a high school in New York City. I'm going to go ahead and type in the address. Go ahead and create that. Then I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop a document set in the application. And what's actually happening in the background is we have an AI tool that's going to go ahead and parse, structure all of the data. So think about this as the first thing we do is we go through and name every page, every document with a specific unique tag. And then we go look for mechanical, electrical equipment. So it goes to one-liners, goes through the mechanical schedules, goes to the specifications, and comes out with a go ahead and hop into this project here, a list of equipment. So you can see, if I look at this modular chiller package, it actually went ahead and pulled down all the mechanical equipment tags for that modular chiller. It's going to pull down the component, the basic design manufacturer, who's multi-stack in this example, and all of the specifications around that chiller. So the size, the water flow capacity, and you're easily able to just accept those packages. So once you've actually done that and structured down all of your equipment, we have a tool in the application that allows you to do a couple different things. So again, the core function of the application is taking unstructured data and structuring it into actionable insights. And now once you've structured it, it's actually engaging with the supplier network. So here's a project that I've already sent out. I have these 3 different types of equipment on this project. I have a DOAS system with Aon as the basic design. You can see here, I can also add a custom scope sheet. These are things like specific engineering requirements about the project. We use a lot of AI tooling to actually structure down data from the specifications and from the drawings to make sure all the important details are included. So for example, if you're a project in Florida that requires a certain salt spray because it's on the ocean, it's going to automatically pull that into the scope sheet. I can then leverage the network. So what we've done is we have normalized all of the reps across the country and all of their line cards. So in this specific project, this project is in DC. So it's looking for DC reps that provide DOAS system, HVAC fans, VRF, really any of the packages that you saw on this previous page. And it goes and finds those reps. So the basic design was Aon, so it's obviously going to pull Aon, but it's also going to pull other manufacturer reps that rep other manufacturers that are complied with the specification. So in this example, it's going to pull Trane. It's also going to pull LG, any other manufacturers that can compete and price on that project. So with one click, I can add those emails, send those out. The rep will get an email in their inbox that says, hey, This 5001 Eisenhower Avenue project is looking for these three different types of equipment. It's going to actually show the line card match. So it's going to say, hey, the base of design is Aon. I know you as a rep train. So the train piece of equipment will align with that DOAS system. The rep then is able to supply their quote right in the application. Again, we're using AI to structure down data from their proposal to fill out that scope sheet. And then you have the ability to level out quotes right in the application. So in this example, you can see that I got three quotes back from these three different reps. All have a little bit different lead times, pricing, and detailed scope about this, giving the ability to easily level out the equipment right in the application. So that's kind of the beginning and end of the application. Easily send out RFQs, structure around the data, and get instant responses back in the application. Where we're going, there's a lot of really cool applications that you can see and where this grows into, where we're going to start verticalizing the supply chain. More to come on that, but as of right now, that is the basic application of BuildVision, and everything I showed you today is at no cost for buyers and sellers. And I'll pass it back to you, David.
So, Mike, do you guys integrate with any platforms?
Yeah, so we have an integration with BuildingConnected. So if general contractors are using BuildingConnected to send out bids, and you're a subcontractor that is getting a bunch of bids, we can easily integrate and structure and extract all the documents so you don't have to re-enter any of that information. And then we also have custom integrations with some suppliers and OEMs into their ERP systems downstream so they can easily quote in the application.
So any user from the AEC side, the BuildVision is free for them to use.
Yeah, the RFQ. So as a buyer or seller, so be able to send out RFQs, add leveling scope sheets, leverage the network, free for buyers on the supplier side to respond to RFQs, to use our AI takeoff tool to structure down all the data is at no cost for any of the users, for buyers and sellers. We do have some premium services that we offer specific customers based on outcomes that they're looking for, and we partner with them to monetize on that.
So what's your ICP? Like who's typically using your platform today? And then maybe who
Yeah.
would it specifically be applicable to?
Yeah, so right now we have any owner, large general contractor, subcontractor that's buying mechanical electrical equipment. So think mechanical electrical subs, large general contractors that have strategic procurement arms, or owners that are doing this at scale. Think of hyperscalers. That's on the buy side. And then on the supply side, it's really any manufacturer rep or OEM across the country. So on the mechanical electrical side, think of all the big players, Trade Carrier, York, Daikin, Aon. On the electrical side, it's the Cummins, Kohlers, Snyder, ABBs, Square Ds of the world.
Question from the audience. Are the vendors willing to provide budget numbers during the design prior to bid?
Yeah, that's a great. So in the application, you actually have the ability to set the phase that you're in. So we see a lot of vendors and suppliers actually want to engage earlier because there's a higher chance that they're going to win the project if they're based in design. So if an engineer that we work with comes to us and say, "Hey, we're building a 800,000 square foot hospital in Charleston, South Carolina," we can structure down all that data, give them expectations of sizing of equipment that's needed, engage directly with those suppliers, and instantly respond with budgetary pricing. And then there's this iteration of budget, bidding, and best and final all in the application.
Very cool. Anything you guys are working on right now that may be a Q1 or Q2 release next year that people should be aware of?
Yeah, so if you zoom out and think through like what makes BuildVision successful is BuildVision needs to become the operating layer for all strategic equipment. So what that means is, how do you design a building? How do you procure the equipment in a building? How do you finance the equipment in a building? How do you transact that equipment in the building? So we're starting to work with a lot of OEMs to automate their processes, so allowing suppliers and buyers to get instant access into the selections of the equipment. So it gives them direct access and also gives them the ability to get quotes turned around a lot faster. So instead of having to wait for a equipment selection that could take a week or two, they'll be able to have instant selections in the application.
Another question from the audience. Can you tender different suppliers and pick it and a winner?
Yep. Yeah. So what you're seeing here, this is just a mechanical pack. These are just three mechanical packages. So you're going out to just, in this example, we went out to three different suppliers. They're able to respond to the equipment packages separately. So we want to force suppliers to actually break out their pricing and not just create one lump sum pricing. So that allows you to actually level out the equipment across packages as opposed to across just like the mechanical equipment package, which gives you the ability to price more effectively, and then you can award right in the application.
Very cool. I'll ask you one more question. I don't have anything else from the audience, but what would you say the biggest efficiency gain is for using BuildVision as opposed to traditional methods?
Yeah, for sure. So the biggest efficiency gains is you're getting direct access to suppliers and OEMs for strategic cost, lead time, and engineered systems. So when you're buying a piece of equipment, there's really three different categories you look at. It's what's the cost, what's the lead time, and what's the actual quality of the piece of equipment. This gives you direct visibility to all three of those components. And depending on the project, you can buy a piece of equipment that has a faster lead time than the basic design equipment, buy a piece of equipment that's cheaper, or buy a piece of equipment that has a different quality. So from our perspective, we're seeing 30 to 40% savings by leveraging BuildVision to procure equipment because it reduces a lot of the risk on the financing and insurance side from a capital flow perspective.
Awesome. Well, Michael, appreciate you showing everybody BuildVision, and definitely excited to see where you guys take it to the next level next year. So,
Awesome.
all right, up
Thanks so
next.
much for having us.
So again, this was the last demo day of 2025. I appreciate everybody joining. As a reminder, we'll be announcing our Q1 event on January 13th in San Francisco coming up. So it'd be great to have you out there. If you're not following us or everybody on this panel, please go do so at LinkedIn to stay up to date with where these technologies are evolving to. Any other questions, or if you have any questions about demo days in the future, feel free to reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to answer anything you have. So with that, we'll wrap up 2025 with this fantastic panel of presenters. And I look forward to seeing everybody in 2026 when we'll restart our demo days on the last Friday of each month at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks again to our panelists, and thank you to the audience for watching all this cool stuff that's coming out into our industry.